So, I'm sure you're all so excited to finally be starting your research papers, right? Yeah, I know. But we're going to try to make it a little bit easier on you by making videos that walk you through step by step each part of the research writing process. And so hopefully you can refer back to these later and make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do, because we all know this is going to be a significant part of our grade. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about the first step, which is analyzing a writing prompt. The first step in writing a paper is obviously figuring out what we're supposed to be doing. This first step is called analyzing the prompt, which is the specific assignment and requirements that your teacher gives you for an essay. This step is very important because even if you write a beautiful, grammatically correct, well-written essay, if it doesn't answer the question you've been given, if it doesn't fully answer the prompt, you will not get a good grade. Please hear me on this. This is so important. The prompt is going to be on the piece of paper that your teacher should give you that has the prompt probably in bold, the specific assignment for what you're supposed to be doing, and then requirements for research. You have to have this many sources, make sure it's in this format, do these things. Do not lose that piece of paper. That thing is like gold, okay? You need to have it to be able to refer back to throughout your writing process to make sure you're staying on track. It would really stink to do a whole bunch of work on this paper, but then end up getting a bad grade because you didn't fully complete the assignment. Okay? So you want to pay extra attention to this step. So we're going to walk through analyzing a prompt together. And I recommend that you read through the prompt all the way through once, just so you know what you're working with. And here's the sample prompt that I have made. From early Native American songs and chants to today's rap songs and country music ballads, many say that music has played a significant role in defining America's culture and its diversity. For your research paper, choose one genre of music and explain how that genre and its musical contributors helped shape America's culture. Okay, we've read through it once, good deal. Now the next step is to read through it again. Probably read through it a few times, but these next times we want to read through it much more carefully. And what I do when I get a prompt is that I find and circle key action words and underline the tasks. Don't be afraid to write all over that thing. Make notes in the margins, circle things, highlight, whatever you need to do, okay? Your action words are your verbs, basically. Analyze, define, describe, explain, discuss, argue, the things you are supposed to do. And then after that word will be the task that you're supposed to do along with it, okay? So here's the prompt again, but this time I highlighted in red are action words. All right, these two action words that are important here are choose and explain. We're supposed to choose one genre of music, that's one task, and then explain how that genre and its musical contributors helped shape America's culture. Now realize we have all of this other information in blue up in front here. It doesn't mean that this is not important. This introduces your topic, helps get you going on the right track, but this part in blue is not your task, all right? This is extra information. It's a way to get you started, but the purpose of your research essay is this part that I've underlined down here, your task. You can't just skim over it and pick out specific words and start writing a paper about it. If you were to read through this and just saw Native American songs and decided to write a research paper just about Native American songs, you're not going to get a good grade because your assignment was to explain. So you could choose that as your genre, but then your assignment is to explain how that genre and its musical contributors help shape America's culture. You see what I'm saying here? You can't neglect any of it. Okay, the next step is to make a list of the tasks depending on the prompt that you have. Some are going to be more complicated than others. Some will have multiple things that you need to do. Some will be very straightforward and simple. When we look back here, basically our two tasks are to choose a genre of music and explain how that genre and its musical contributors helped shape America's culture. The other part to remember is that even if you have multiple things that you're supposed to do, some are more important than others. Choosing one genre of music, you're not going to need to write a whole lot about that part. It's pretty simple to just choose the genre of music. The thing that most of your paper is going to be focusing on is explaining how that genre and its musical contributors help shape America's culture. So if you're going to make a list, I'd make a list and then list them from most important to least important, so we can stay focused and make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. And then the next step is to come up with questions that need to be answered. Looking at your prompt, looking at what you're supposed to be doing. Where do you need to go with your research? What specific things do you need to start looking for? It helps if you make a list of these questions before you start your research, so you'll have an idea where you're going. And these are some examples that I came up with. What music genre will I choose? What are the characteristics of this genre? What types of people listen to this music, such as age, race, and gender? What significant musicians or bands have made music in this genre? Why did they make that music? What impact did those specific musicians make on our culture? How is this genre's effect on America different than its effect in other countries? And obviously you could add more to this list. You may not need to answer all of these, but this just gives you a place to go. Okay, then obviously you have to make your thesis statement. You need one of these in any kind of essay that you write. This will probably be another lesson and or video. But before you get started, do not neglect this step of analyzing the writing prompt, figuring out what exactly you're supposed to be doing. If you don't fully understand it, ask your teacher, ask your classmates. Make sure you know where you're going with this. Because like I said, it would stink to do all that work and not get a good grade just because you didn't do the right thing. Okay? Make sure you know the question that you're supposed to be answering. Take it one step at a time. And good luck.